What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon for 66 Cards, and today we're going to go through the list of breakers on the Nationals website to see whether Backyard Breaks is on the list and will be at the show this year. This, of course, is a relevant question because of what happened in January of this year when Grant, the founder of Backyard Breaks, was on a live stream and said something wildly inappropriate. At that time, the hobby was pretty unanimous in their reaction to that incident, saying, like, we better not see this guy ever again in the hobby. There should be no coming back from this. There should be no redemption arc. None of that stuff. Well, a few months later, Grant came back and life has continued on within the hobby. The other thing that people were saying when this first happened, and even when Grant came back to Backyard Breaks, was that, well, the true test of what the hobby will or will not accept is at the National, and whether or not Backyard Breaks is allowed to show up and be a vendor at the National. Well, we were able to answer that question because the list of dealers or the list of breakers is out on the Nationals website. You can see here I'm on the Nationals website under the Case Break Pavilion tab, and your main hint as to whether or not Backyard Breaks is gonna be at the show this year is right here where it says Case Break Pavilion powered by Whatnot. Whatnot is, of course, the platform that Backyard Breaks operates on. So, spoiler alert. If we scroll down, you can see that this list is as of June 25th, 2025. It is an updated list of breakers that will be attending the National. And you can see here is a list that some companies have one table or one booth, some have two, and some have four. And four is the max. You can see there's 6 companies here that have 4 tables or 4 booths. And if we scroll down a little bit further, you can see there is a 7th company that has 4 booths. And that is, yes, you guessed it, Backyard Breaks. 4 tables. Just like these. So not only is Backyard Breaks going to be at the National this year, they will be one of the biggest breakers at the National. So that is the answer to that question. But a more interesting nuance to this question is, where will they be set up on the show floor? And so if we scroll down, they have a nice little interactive map function on the Nationals website. So if you scroll down here, you can see this is the layout of the National. And if we zoom in, you can see here, this is the Case Break Pavilion. And my question for you from afar is, where would you think the best spot is to be a breaker at the National, given that it's somewhere within this little triangle here? And I would say, well, it's probably somewhere, it's probably somewhere here or here, and here's why. This is a concession stand where a lot of people will come to get food throughout the days of the show. And so you probably want to be right by that because that'll get you a lot of eyes on you as people wait for food. You don't want to be directly behind the concession stand because you'll actually be hidden, right? If you're directly behind it. So to me, the best spot here would be right here, or right here. I would say not over here because then you're kind of hidden behind these 2 tables, whereas this spot has direct line of sight if you're passing through anywhere here. Here, this table I would also say is pretty good, except that you don't get line of sight if you're standing here because the concession stand will block your view. So I would say this spot right here is the best one. And also if you're at PSA, in line or whatever, walking through, you will be able to see the direct line of sight there. And so let's go back to this list, 15, 42, 43, 44, and 45. And what is the best spot in the Breakers Pavilion? It is 15, 42, 43, 44, and 45. That's right. That is, in fact, the Backyard Breaks booth. It is right here, what I consider to be the best spot in this entire triangle. And so, to bring it all back, Backyard Breaks will be at the National this year. And not only will they be at the National this year, they will also have the biggest table or booth space at the National this year, along with 6 other companies. But not only will they have the biggest space in the Breakers Pavilion, they will also have the best spot with the most visibility and highest traffic within the Breakers Pavilion. So there is the answer to your question. If you are holding out hope for some reason that money isn't the number one cause of everything in the hobby, well, this just goes to prove it, because the National, if you recall, is supposed to be a nonprofit that is here to promote the hobby. And so in all of its wisdom, we have decided that, yep, Backyard Breaks should get the most visibility, have the biggest booth in the Breakers Pavilion, because that is the representation of the hobby that we want to give to all the attendees that are coming this year, all the families, all the children. We want Backyard Breaks to be the number one thing you think about when you think about breaks. That is the message that the National is sending with this setup and by allowing them to be there, because they are taking money from Whatnot. I would love to say I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. As soon as I saw that Whatnot was sponsoring it, I think we all knew what the answer was going to be for whether or not Backyard Breaks would be at the show this year. So that's it. That's the video. Would love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Thank you, as always, for listening and watching. I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers.